Hello, 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 and welcome. This is your boy Mike, and in this conversation, we're gonna talk about like everything. I was gonna do two separate podcasts overall, but then things came up. You know how life is; things just come up. So make sure you subscribe, watch the videos in the past. Shout outs to my last video with Samson Folk, where we kind of spoke about the Raptors before the trade deadline. We thought what was gonna happen. I gave some scenarios, whatever. That has gone. The trade deadline passed. The Raptors have had two games since. I was gonna do a podcast yesterday, and I'm like, you know what? Let this Detroit game pass, because depending on the Detroit game, the mood of my podcast can be different. I also had to watch the Super Bowl. Let that Super Bowl pass. Then I'm just like, now, I'm not gonna talk about football here. I'm really not. I really wanted Philadelphia to win now. So if I seem a little bit down, a little bit hurt, it's because Jalen Hurts didn't win. And I actually thought the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win. I'm not a Philadelphia fan. That's not my team. But I thought they were going to win. So in this podcast, I'm going to kind of talk about both. I'm going to talk about the Raptors. That'll be probably my second half. For the first half, I'm going to talk about the NBA trade deadline. What you talk right now. This trade deadline, I made a video saying that, there's a chance this trade deadline is going to be boring. We're not going to see anything happen. Nothing's going to happen because every team thinks they can compete. Every team thinks they can win the title. So I'm thinking to myself, nothing's going to happen. This is going to be a boring year. Because we all, every single team, if you look down the standings, every team believes that they have a chance. What I should have predicted, and I did not predict, is that Kyrie Irving is filled with drama. He really is. As much as, a lot of people, some people will say, no, I'm wrong. Some people will say, no, you're right. But Kyrie Irving is filled with drama. He's filled with it. And he's filled the Brooklyn Nets once again with a lot of drama. Hence why we're here. Because Kyrie Irving requested a trade to the Dallas... Well, he requested a trade. Then he was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie Irving was traded to the Dallas Mavericks. So then, that was the first domino. Then there had to be a second domino. And mind you, when Kyrie was attempted to be traded, LA thought they had a chance. They had some picks. The 2027, 2029. They felt like that was their time, whatever. The thing is, no one's talking about these other Laker picks that they're going to have to, I'm pretty sure the Pelicans have those too. That's, what they did was crazy. It made sense. They won a title. It is what it is. But that was the first domino that fell. Then the second domino fell. We all went to bed and woke up to the Kevin Durant being traded to the Phoenix Suns. Honestly, those are the two biggest trades. We can talk about, and we will talk about, the Westbrook and the 3-team trades, but we got to talk about Kyrie going to Dallas. My thought process is, that's all right. I think that's the worst place that Kyrie can go to. From Kyrie's perspective, yes, him and Luka technically should get along. Because one thing, Kyrie's not a ball hog overall. He's not. He's never really been. He knew then that it was, LeBron's team. When he had his own team, he realized he didn't want his own team. Then when he went to then he teamed up with Kevin and realized that, it's Kevin's team. Now he's teaming up with Luka. It's Luka's team. Now, it doesn't matter who gets the last shot. Kyrie's hit some game winners, hit one of the biggest game winners or the biggest shots in NBA Finals history. Game 7 history. So you're not going to be worried about that. Luka is Luka. He's a star. He's just Luka Doncic. The argument is Kyrie may play here this year. Kyrie wants a big contract. That's the biggest thing. And Dallas may sign him to that contract because they have no choice. Dallas has no choice but to sign Kyrie to a big contract. Now the thing is, Kyrie is can just leave. He doesn't have to. He's not unrestricted. So he's not restricted. He's an unrestricted free agent. He can say, "I'm gone. I'm gonna go to LA. I'm gonna go to a team with cap space." He can easily do that. So to me, the risk of getting Kyrie and pairing him up with Luka, that's a high risk. And the reward is you have Kyrie Irving, but damn, that is like incredibly high risk. A risk that you don't want to take. A risk a lot of people didn't want to take, but they took it. So they traded. I should even go there. They traded, Kyrie Irving, of course, goes to Kyrie Irving, and I think Markieff Morris goes to Dallas. Dallas loses Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, which two guys who actually think I think Dinwiddie is a good guard who honestly could be your third guard. He's scored about 17, 18 points a game. He can do that. Dorian Finney-Smith, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of trading him. I like him. I'm not a big fan of trading him. No way. Not a big fan. And why I'm not a big fan is because he's exactly what Luka needs, a wing defender who can guard some three, some four. He can kind of play all around. He can't really play a small ball five or anything unless the other team has a really small guy. I just think he fits well with Luka. So to lose that, I'm not a fan. And what else do they lose? They lose a 2027 second round pick, which it could be whatever. And then they lose a 2029 first round pick, unprotected. Now, that pick could be it could be something, because you don't know what's gonna happen in the next 6 years. We've seen Kyrie Irving change 3 teams in a span of 5 years. We've seen Russell Westbrook change to 5 teams. We've seen if we say 5 years ago LeBron was a Cleveland Cavalier, let's not why are we acting like this is 5 years ago, DeMar was a Raptor. I think DeMar was a Raptor. Kyle Lowry was a Raptor. Jimmy Butler I think he was a Timberwolf at the time. The league changes, right? The league definitely changes. So to say that Luka's going to be happy, you don't know. We have no idea if Luka's going to be happy. Now, I'm going to assume that this is going to be okay. I'm going to assume that they'll make it work for the rest of the year. That's only something that any of us can make. Other than that, I don't know. I don't think Kyrie's staying. And if Kyrie doesn't stay, I've seen people joke and say this, and I'm going to say this as a 50% joke. As much as you want star power, as much as you want that next guy, right now Dallas doesn't have, I believe they may have the cap space at that time, and they may still try to go for a Fred if Fred wants to take a little bit less of a deal or someone like that, but I don't know. I'm just saying, you look at trading Luka, and I know that's blasphemy. You don't trade certain players. You don't trade Jason Tatum's, whatever. But if you know eventually this person's going to ask to be traded, you just ask around what someone would want. That's all. What is someone else willing to give? Will you ever get a Luka? Probably not. The chances are so low. From going from Dirk to Luka, that's crazy. A lot of teams don't go through that. All I'm saying is you need to build something around Luka, or Luka's leaving. Yeah, Porzingis didn't work out. I think that's a little bit of Luka. Like I said, I think a lot of this is Luka's fault too. I think Luka's a dominant player and he's amazing at everything he does. But there's certain things that you wish Luka just can't play with other guys right now. And I don't know why, but he can't. He needs a certain style of player with him. So I don't know. He had Jalen Brunson. That's a Dallas fault. Dallas management should have signed him. They chose not to. Now this guy's making like double the amount that he could have if he stayed there and been Luka's second guy and helped Luka out. But this is basically an upgraded version of Jalen Brunson, and Kyrie's definitely an upgrade. So I don't know. I think I look for it. I didn't even know it was gonna go this long on that move because like I can care less about that move. The move I also want to talk about, of course, is Russ being traded to basically like Russ is fine. Like Russ got did he get he's going to Utah. He's going to Utah. Mike Conley's going to Minnesota. Um, then D'Angelo Russell, Mike Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt are all going to LA. I think for what the Lakers got for Russell Westbrook, pretty much, that's a pretty good deal. I think the Jazz were very nice. I think Minnesota was very nice on what they gave to LA. I think they were very nice on what they gave to LA. You get Jared Vanderbilt, switchable wing, who could guard multiple positions. You get Beasley, who I think a few years ago may have averaged like 18 points a game, 18 to 20 points a game. And you have D'Angelo Russell, who can score the basket with like anybody. A shifty point guard, a great point guard vision. He has all that, right? The thing he doesn't have is defense at all, and sometimes self awareness. But the thing that LeBron and AD they just need a bunch of good players, and quite frankly, like they got much better. Like that's the thing of sometimes when you want to overcompensate your team, you lose those like seventh and eighth men on the court when you are too top heavy, and they were incredibly top heavy with no bench. And yes, three guys can be as dominant as anyone can be, but you still need a bench. You still need other guys to help you out. You still need at least like two guys off the bench who you can trust. But now that you got Beasley and Vanderbilt, I saw what they did just now with the lineup. I'm thinking the best lineup for the Lakers, if I'm just thinking out loud, I think you still start Dennis Schroeder like he was starting the other game. You put D'Angelo at the 2. The 3, I think they're going to go with Rui. But, like, to me, don't you want a really good defender at the 3? And honestly, you brought Rui to start. But I'm thinking for your best offensive lineup and just some of probably your best 5, arguably, for some. You put Schroeder at the 1, D'Angelo at the 2. I would go Vanderbilt at the 3. That's where I would go. LeBron at the 4, AD at the 5. AD has to play the 5. That's just that simple. AD has to play the 5. AD has to play the 5. Yeah, they got Mo Bamba, and we can like chat about that, or I can briefly just mention right now that they got Mo Bamba, but Mo Bamba's not starting. Anthony Davis not going to play center all game, but maybe, to start the game he does, and to finish the game he does. And then you bring the bench guys. Now, the bench is much better. You have Beasley coming off the bench, who can be your scorer, right? And the thing is, Dennis Schroeder wants to score the basket. So does D'Lo. I think you just have more guys. You have Rui off the bench as well. You have Austin Reeves off the bench. Like, you're better now. Like, you're much better. Like, so much better as the Lakers team now than they were before. Now, is this going to help them win, like, a few games and make it to the 10th seed? I don't know, man. They're really behind. Like, right now, they're like 2 games behind OKC, who they probably should have, won that game. Shout out to LeBron. Give quick shout out to LeBron for passing Kareem. Shouts out. To me, that's GOAT. Like, both mans are GOAT, so it is what it is. But they really needed that win. And their next game against Portland, as you guys listen to this, will be tonight. If you listen to it on a Monday, like that's another, like, you need that game. Like, you need that game. See, if I look at ESPN, they have Rui starting over Jared Vanderbilt. I think for purposes, you want to start. But even Lonnie Walker coming off the bench, being like, a crazy scorer is good. Like, I think this team, honestly, can go like 8-9 deep. Like solid rotation players. They still have Troy Brown Jr. They still have Winning Gabriel, who is a big energy guy. Who I think sometimes you need an energy guy. Like I think this Laker team is not bad now. I think this Laker team is really not bad because you have, of course, how the team should run is AD, your number one option, LeBron your number two option, and like LeBron's just gonna be your everything guy. He's the guy. People are still. LeBron scored like he needed 36 points, something like that, and he scored it. Because when LeBron needs to score and wants to score, he can score at will. No one is better than LeBron at that, and no one can stop LeBron at that. So AD's your number one, LeBron's your number two, and then now D'Angelo Russell becomes a number three. Who, no offense to Russell Westbrook, is a better scorer than him. Can shoot the ball better than him. Then you still got Dennis Schroeder, who can shoot the ball. Honestly, Dennis Schroeder's good. Good defender too. Underrated defender. Not like horrible, but like sorry, not amazing. Not like Drew Holiday or something. But he's not horrible. He's definitely not horrible. He's actually pretty good. Rui Hachimura. The defensive side needs to improve greatly, especially on this squad. Now, and say that's why I would start Jared Vanderbilt, but I believe the only reasons why they got Rui is to be kind of. I think they really brought him to be a third guy. I think they really want to see this guy can have third guy potential. I think I really feel like the Lakers are really trying to fill two roles of their team. I think they're trying to fill the KCP role, and I think they're trying to fill the role of Kuzma. And I think Kuzma is like the Rui Hachimura, and the KCP. I don't think they truly have that 3-and-D person. You need someone who can shoot the corner threes very well and play great defense. And I think one thing this team is gonna rely itself on is offense, and as they should. Offensively, this team could be good. Defensively, you're hoping AD can just be dominant the way he has been. But overall, I thought it was a good trade. Mike Conley going to Minnesota. Nice veteran presence. That's what the team needs, is a vet to help them, to guide them. I think probably Mike Conley has another year before he retires. And I think as long as he brings some veteran presence, you're happy. And yeah, Russ Westbrook is going to get bought out by the Jazz. And there's rumors already circling that he's going to go to a team like the Clippers are talking. The Heat are talking. I think he may go to the Clippers. I think Paul George is really going to try to convince him. I'll get to the Clippers very soon, and what they did, and quite frankly, I think they did a lot. I think the Clippers really did help themselves, but I'll get to that part of the trade deadline, the other aspects of the NBA trade deadline that occurred. Now, we gotta talk about the big trade, the one that woke a lot of people up, or actually everyone woke up too. KD going to the Phoenix Suns. Now. Whoa. Right? That's what we all thought first. Whoa. What just happened? This league is crazy. What? Everyone's confused. Everyone was I was just asleep. What occurred? But that's what happened. KD's going to the Suns. Mind you, I predicted in a former video about KD that I said no matter what, KD is going to the Suns. He wants to go there. They have the assets. We can all mutually agree on this. Now, do I agree with the trade package? I was talking to my friend the other day about for the Raptors, would they trade a bunch of picks for KD? And he said, you know what? I know KD's great. I know KD's good. But I'm not trading all these picks for KD. And I'm like, why? Why, friend? Why? And my friend told me, one, KD does get hurt, which is facts. He does get hurt. And then he had said, you don't know what it's going to be like in a few years. You don't know if KD's going to want to stay, if he's going to want to go. You have no idea. So why take that risk? Even though he's so good. Look at Brooklyn. They took the risk. What happened? Nothing. So then made me think, you know what? Maybe I wouldn't. So I think what Phoenix gave up, they gave up a 2023, 2025, 2027, 2028, 2029 first round picks unprotected. All four unprotected. That unprotection shit is crazy to me. How you unprotect this? How you sit back and you write that contract and say, yeah, like let's do this. That's crazy to me. Now they say it's the new owner syndrome. A new owner comes in, they want to make a splash. Well, that's a splash. You've definitely made a splash. I do not agree with this splash. It's a little too much of a splash. This is a relaxed splash. You need to chill. Like, definitely you need to chill. But that's what the owner did. And what from everyone says, this happens a lot. Owners, they make a lot of decisions, of course, as they should. And that owner decided, I would like to mortgage 10 years. You know, not really 10 years, like 7 years. But to mortgage this in years and basically, basically say, KD, win us at least one. Like, they have to win one to make it worth it. And yes, you have Devin Booker. And now you have Devin Booker, KD, Chris Paul. Like, you know, I should even say the trade package. I didn't say the trade package. KD, obviously, to the Phoenix Suns for Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, who I actually thinks is a really good player, and of course the four first round draft picks unprotected. I I don't know. I I think Brooklyn won that trade. Mind you, Brooklyn doesn't really have their own draft picks right now, but if they can like accumulate others, that'd be good. The Brooklyn Nets, like oddly enough, have so much guys. This is what I thought with the Utah Jazz. When you have so much guys that like if you just trade everyone for like a late first rounder, multiple second rounders, like you can come up with like a big draft capital, like a big draft capital, because Brooklyn has a bunch of wings. They have Mikal Bridges, who's someone offered four first round picks for, which they obviously said no to. They have Cam Johnson, who can probably you can get for a first round pick. Um, you know, now you also have Dimwitty from the Dallas trade. You have Darren Finney-Smith. You have who probably not a first round, maybe a second round draft pick, maybe a random guy you trade for. But like that team's not bad with a Cam Thomas, who can get buckets, scoring 40 points a game. Like, you know, that team's not bad. Brooklyn, it's gonna be a fun team. They're gonna drop down obviously because they won't have. I don't think they'll have that number one guy, and I think sometimes you still need that number one guy to win certain games. But they may not. They have too much wins, I think, to just drop the win column down and to drop seeding. They may go to like eighth, ninth. I can see that, but I think they have a lot of good talent, like a lot of good talent. I don't see them just being this like walkover. Like I don't see it happening. But yeah, with KD going with Devin Booker, it's going to be very fun, very exciting. I'm expecting fireworks from beginning. I'm expecting to see, you know, kind of like that Golden Stateness that happened before, where they're just so offensively gifted. This is where Aiton can hopefully exploit his talent and become that, you know, 15 and 15 guy, or you know, a 15 and 20 guy, because he's gonna catch rebounds, be able to pass to his teammates. You know, a perfect DeAndre Ayton for this squad could be a 15, 15 and like 3 guy, like that 15 and 4 maybe. Like that's I don't know, but I think Ayton can really exploit this. I think it gives Chris Paul another. Honestly, it gives him like another year of like, okay, I don't got to be the second guy. Like now, Chris Paul knows like he doesn't have to be the second guy. He's gonna orchestrate the defense, orchestrate the offense, and you know people are not talking about the fact that it's Chris Paul and KD on the same team, and that's kind of lethal because Chris Paul is still a mid-range maestro, and so is KD, and actually so is Devin Booker. Like they can kill you with the mid-range and kill you with the shooting. All this team needs is just to get a stronger bench. There is already reports about Terrence Ross joining, which if he does, that's a three-point shooter that I think he's shooting 40% or close to 40% this year. Phoenix did well for themselves. I will say that Phoenix, 1,000% did well for themselves. So shout outs to Phoenix. Shout outs to just like making an all-in move, right? A lot of teams are scared to do it. Mind you, I still said I'm not the biggest fan of the all-in move, but I get it. So I told myself not to make the podcast too long. So I'm hoping not to make it too long. So I'll go straight to the rest of the draft or the trade deadline and some of the things. If something I want to talk about, I may just briefly mention it. So I'll talk about the Josh Hart goes to the Knicks for Cam Reddish, Svi Mikhailuk, Ryan Archiniakino, and a 2023 first round pick, lottery protect. I think it's probably not one of theirs. I think it's another pick. If it's theirs, that'd be kind of crazy to trade your draft pick. But the Knicks want to be good. So I think it's a good move. I think he's like a Tom Thibodeau guy. He's gonna work hard, and I believe I like that pick. It's not horrible. The Raptors pick we will talk about, but Pirtle going to the Raptors, of course, after literally playing them that night, like crazy. Random Mike Muscala to Thunder for Justin Jackson and 2 second rounders. We had a lot of like 5 second round picks being drafted. We had a 3-team trade. Milwaukee finally got Jay Crowder, which honestly everyone is in agreement to this, that this is a good move for them. This is going to help them. The Bucks are got a lot better by doing this. I think he helps their depth. He is a good wing defender. If he's hitting his shots, like I think this team could be really good. Especially, you know how big they can go? They can go Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Cash Money Chris, Crowder, Giannis, and Brooke. They can even, if they truly want to experiment, they can go Chris at the point. They can go Crowder at the 2, Giannis at the 3. You got Bobby Portis at the 4, and then like Lopez at the 5. Like they can go big and like still be super dominant. So shout out to them. Brooklyn gets 3 second round picks. Just increase your draft capital. Why not? Pacers get George Hill, Serge, and Nwora. I think George and Serge are going to get bought out. Pretty sure. Thomas Bryant goes to the Nuggets. Lakers get 3 second round picks. I don't know why they got 3 for Thomas Bryant. I don't know why Denver gave up all their second round, but Lakers need some second rounders. So then we have Matisse for Jalen McDaniels, a 3-team trade, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. Matisse going to Portland. Okay, I didn't know. Dame needs as much defenders as possible, so why not? Jalen McDaniels is a good player, so that's good. One of the more odd ones, 2 second rounders for Bones Highland. It was like the Clippers called and said, like, what can we get for Bones? Or what do you need us to give you for Bones? And the Denver Nuggets were like, we don't care. And they said 2 second rounders. They're like, we don't care. And they just traded him. Because you heard that Bones and the coaching staff were not getting along. And that's what happens when you have Jokic and you don't want to play alongside Jokic. And if you don't play alongside Jokic, that's a you thing. We'll have to see. We've got to wait and see if he's made a better move. Phoenix gets Darius Baisley, which I don't know if he's getting minutes with OKC. I don't know. I don't. That one seems like a whatever move to me. Darius Hart just makes money. The 4-team trade that like just got approved like a couple hours ago. Sadiq Bey goes to Atlanta. Gary Payton II goes to the Warriors. Wiseman goes to the Pistons. Portland receives Kevin Knox for 5 first rounders, whatever. I think that once again is like the fact that Golden State got back Gary Payton is hilarious. They clearly messed up. And the whole Wiseman situation, I just hope he gets minutes. I don't want to talk too much about it. I hope he gets minutes. I like Sadiq Bey. There's clearly something that went wrong with him in Detroit for them not to want to keep him. I thought he was a staple to their future. I thought that he was their future, like three. I thought he was like a 3D wing. He looked like and reminded me of Andre Iguodala. So I really thought that was going to be the case. Random Atlanta Houston draft or trade doesn't matter. Luke Kennard going to the Grizzlies is good for them. John Wall will get bought out. Danny Green already got bought out. And Eric Gordon going to the Clippers. I really want to talk about the Clippers. Bamba and Beverly got traded for each other. Beverly's probably going to get waived as well. Devontae Graham going to the Spurs, actually kind of shocked. But Josh Richardson is a good 3-and-D wing. Plumlee going to the Clippers. Red Jackson going to the Charlotte. I believe Reggie may get bought out. I think what it comes down to is Reggie wanted more and they didn't have it. Now for I just want to talk about the Clippers. Once again, I think they're good. I think they're good. I don't know who their point guard is, but I think they're going to go with Terrence Mann. And then still quality. I think their bench is kind of explosive. You have Bones, Eric, Norm, Batum, Plumlee. Like that's still Covington. Like that's a pretty good bench, I will say. So, but my whole thing is like, doesn't Eric Gordon and Highland and Norm all kind of like, it's all like this, not the same player, but the same like mentality? Like, I don't know. I just feel like shoot first guards. I'm not sure if I'm not sure how good the deal is. Like, I'm not sure how good their team is. I like Luke Kennard. He shot threes, but clearly he was not in good favor over there. Now, some teams didn't make a move. I'll talk about the Kings. The Kings didn't make a move because they didn't have to. They have made bad moves some year after year. This time they didn't have to. They have 2 All-Stars. Shout out to Fox and Sabonis. I thought it was always going to be a good team, and they're clearly showing that they are going to be a good team. So I think I'm totally fine with what they did, for sure. Chicago, they believe in the 3 guys they have. I don't know why. Them more than Toronto. I don't know why they didn't make their decision because they have older players. They don't really have anything in the pipeline that's like you want to see it. And also, I don't believe they have like some of their draft picks. And I think they lose this one to Orlando again for the Vucevic trade back in the day. Vucevic may not come back, so I don't know. I don't know why they kind of kept it unless they're just okay with being where they are. I thought they were going to make some moves. I thought, once again, them and Toronto, I thought they were going to make a majority of the moves. But they ended up both kind of pretty much staying intact. Now, let me switch gears to just full-on Raptor talk. Full-on, so if you're not a Raptor fan, make sure you still listen, of course. Make sure you subscribe and like. And follow on all social media platforms. Check out the videos and everything. Now for the Raptors. I've come with a lot of thoughts about what happened. I'm not doing anything. I made my video in the past saying that, you know what? I think their best option is to chill. And if I think it then, I'm going to continue with that same process, same mentality now. I truly do think it's okay to wait. I trust Masai. I think that one thing he said that like blatantly called everyone out. When a team wins, everyone gets desperate to replace whatever they were missing to get to that championship. The best thing that can happen to the Raptors is the Phoenix Suns make it to the finals and win. That's the best thing that can happen to the Raptors. Why? Because every team, they already want an OG now. They imagine when they really do want him, what can they get? What the Raptors can get. The draft capital will still be there. The only ones you worry about is Yak, Fred, and Gary. I think by them not training them, they're also showing them that they believe in them and they think that they could do a lot with them. Now, that could be just now. They could be like signing trades in the future, whatever. But as of right now, if you're Gary, if you're Yak, if you're Fred, you're thinking to yourself like, this team low-key believes in me. Maybe they want me to stay. And you kind of go from there. I think for sure Toronto will sign Jakob Poeltl back. And I think they'll sign one of Gary or Fred, for sure. I think it's Fred. Even I think Gary should stay too. Not sure about the contract, but I think Gary should stay too. So, all in all, I think the Raptors, now they traded Poeltl for Ken Birch and a 2024, 2025, or sorry, 2024 or 2025 or 2026 or 7 first rounder, 1 to 6 protected. Now, if it's like falls in the 7th to 8th, that kind of sucks. But you're not losing the 2023 pick. Like, I see a lot of people talking about how much they don't like what the Raptors did. The one thing is that they didn't lose this year's pick, and they only traded one pick, which is next year's pick anyway, and on a draft class that's said to not be that loaded at all compared to this one. And not only that, but do you want this team to be bad next year? If you don't want them to be bad next year, getting a 2024 pick that's could be like below 20th is not relevant to them. They'll probably give that pick away. They'll probably look for some second rounders that year as well to try to push the margins. But that's just what happens. Like, I agree with Messiah. You don't just want to trade players for nothing. Because if everyone's saying that they're so valuable, I would love to get OG, then like, how bad do you want him? All right. And then if everyone wants to get OG, then why not like we keep him? Like, mind you, I'm starting to like sour on the thought of keeping him, but why not? If everyone thinks this guy is so coveted, let's make him coveted then. Let's see what everyone else sees. Why does everyone think that he's like the next coming? Like, why? What makes them question all these things? So if they're seeing that and people are saying it, then you follow it. You follow what that is. So I kind of believe in what Masai and Bobby did. I agree with it. I know a lot of people don't. They're like, oh, they didn't do anything. I think what sucks the most is that everyone was saying that we were doing stuff. Like, everyone was like, oh, the Raptors are the key to the trade deadline, blah blah blah. Like, that's what they were saying. People were talking about it consistently. Like, the Raptors were linked to this player, or this team's linked to one of the Raptors players, and everyone thinks that Gary Trent's for sure getting traded, or Fred is now for sure traded. OG's unhappy, blah 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 blah. Now Pascal's being spoken about. So like, every time the Raptors are being spoken about, it was about trade talk. So for them not to do anything just seemed kind of odd. So I understand from all fans, reporters, everyone's mindset about the Raptors. Seeing them do nothing, it's like the worst thing they can do. Because you thought at least they're trading OG or Fred or Gary. One of the three. But they didn't trade any of them. Which leads me to my next thing. This Raptor team is now, honestly, depending on how you see Flynn, it's like a 10 deep lineup. It's 10 deep. I think the best starting unit for this team is Yak at the 5. Of course, Pascal at the 4, Scott at the 3, OG at the 2, and Fred at the 1. That's their most ideal lineup. And with that said, your bench now is going to have Gary Trent in it. You're going to have Precious Achua. You're going to have Chris Boucher. You're going to have Thad Young. And you have Malachi Flynn. That's a 10-man rotation. I like it. I like the thought of having a 10-man rotation. Now Malachi may not get a lot of minutes. Thad may not get a lot of minutes. But, what is good about it is that at least you can say you're 9-10 deep. And I know some games, Flynn is not the most trustworthy person, and he hasn't been shooting the ball well at all. And like offensively, this team is. But if you're putting, Gary in that unit, who's to say what's gonna happen? Who's to say? Plus, you still have OG, so you can have some OG Pascal lineups. Like, you can have Fred and OG lineups. You have multiple things that can happen. Thanks to Gary Trent just being the firecracker that he is. So I believe that can happen as well. So I think this Raptor team I think they're okay. Yes, I understand. What direction? The question is, what direction are the Raptors in? And no one knows. I think that's what's so frustrating. No one knows what direction they're in. But Masai really wants to give it an opportunity. Last time he gave it an opportunity, he ended up trading DeMar for Kawhi Leonard. I thought about this trade the other day when I was driving. I'm like, you know what would be a potential good one? Just randomly. I'm not sure they'll do it. But you think Minnesota would take OG and Fred for Karl Anthony Towns? Just the thought process I had. I know Karl Anthony Towns does not play no defense. So that would suck. But offensively, he would be definitely a great upgrade, right? But you didn't sign Yak to not sign him, or you didn't trade for Yak to not sign him. You know. But all in all, I trust it. I get why people hate it. I truly get it. Where's the direction of this team? What do we want to see from this team? What is Bobby Masai doing? I get it. I understand that whole thing. But I gotta trust them. I gotta trust them. They're making the right moves. I gotta trust them. I think I would do the same thing. If the offers weren't great, like you see teams offered 3 draft picks, but you don't know the players that they were trying to bring us. Who's to say they were trying to bring us probably Dylan Brooks? I don't want Dylan Brooks. Give me like Aldama, who I think is probably older as well. But give me something else. I don't want Xavier Woods. Or sorry, Xavier Woods is a wrestler. Um, I don't want. Well, I could want Tillman, but like, then give me a 5th draft pick. Like, make it worth my while. But I'm not gonna trade you 3 draft picks who you don't know where they're gonna fall. That's what sucks. You don't know the protection that those other teams had. Like, everyone plays GM, but not asking themselves like, you weren't in the war room to see how much calls were provided. So, or what type of calls they were. Yeah, so that's my little spiel on that. But I'm okay with the trade. If I find it funny that they were playing them the night before, but it is what it is. Hopefully, Yak save some extra bags. And I already shows that like Pascal showing gave him a T-shirt already for his. So that could be a thing too. That could definitely be a thing. Now, the one thing with bringing Yak is that I personally think that Gary, Fred, and Yak will get re-signed. I think by not trading anyone, there's a loyalty, and I think players like loyalty, and I think when they see it, they want to have that, and I think that's what they also showed as well. So I think all those 3 guys will probably sign with the Raptors. Now, the one thing with them signing with the Raptors, and the guy that I honestly think is being left out, and I'm not sure if it's deserved or not, is OG. OG's still hurt, and I say this nicely. I don't want to see OG go because I see the value, but if the value is where I see it, then I gotta trade him. I see the only tradable option is Scotty. So that's the only tradable option. Pascal is like a 10%. You have to really blow me out my head to like you gotta give me like if you're OKC, you gotta give me like 5 draft picks, man. Like you gotta give me everybody. You gotta give me everyone. You gotta give me 5 draft picks. I need like Chet Holmgren. Like I don't know, man. If you trade me for Scotty, darn near the same damn thing. I'm not doing it. Like I'm not doing it. But yeah, OG. I don't know if he fits anymore. I know this kind of sounds really bad and it could be blasphemous, but I just don't think he sits or feels a part of the team like he used to. Of course, we're not watching his play, his like top defense, his all NBA worldly defense. So I think we're missing him, and we're like, you know what? I'm used to just not seeing him. I can deal with him not being in our team anymore. So that's where everyone else is. That's why I think everyone is. But I think we have to show faith. I think we have to show a lot of faith in this team. Now I know they lost to Utah, and I know they like came close to Detroit. The thing is, Detroit always somehow plays them well. Dwayne Casey knows what the other team is doing before they do it. Like he's just a trained professional, and they beat us a bunch of times. So like I'm not gonna ever shout them down just because of record or whatever. Now, the Utah loss sucks because we were up and we lost that. That was one of the more disappointing games. I think a lot of people gave up on the Raptors. Felt like why did we get Yak? Why did we get Yak? Why did we get Yak? I can say just by watching Yakapurto, he does help with his team a lot. I like to see more rebounds, but I think he helps his team a lot. Defensively, offensively, he can hit like a little small jumpers. I think this could be the start of a great friendship with Yak and Toronto. Again, part 2. I think it could be really good for both. Really, really good for both. But that's it. There's not much to really say. The trade has gone past. Trade deadline's gone past. I think some deals are a little bit iffy, but I will say that the Toronto Raptors had a really good. Sorry, I would say the Toronto Raptors have a good schedule coming up, which should be favorable to them. But last time we thought that things didn't go well. But I hope this time it does. I really do. And also it's All Star Weekend, so everyone is gonna enjoy that. Pascal's also an All Star second time, and which is good because the man is about to beat a record of being All NBA player without a All Star or without or with only having one All Star, I should say. But that's it for me. That's Those Guys Sports. I'm your boy Mike. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again. Peace.